There were seven other books besides novelizations in the original Star Wars pantheon. There were the 3 Han Solo books, 3 Lando Calrissian books, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and of course novelizations. What I got to do was the first novelist who could write after Return of the Jedi and therefore use all the movie characters. So that gave me a great cast to work with, and it did kickstart the new era of the expanded universe.
This was one of those out-of-the-blue things. Back in 1988, Lou Aronica, who was head of Bantam Spectra at the time, wrote a letter to George Lucas suggesting that since Lucasfilm didn't seem to be doing anything more with Star Wars, that Bantam would like to pick up the series with a 3-book saga, picking up after Return of the Jedi, where no one had been allowed to write before. All the other books had been prequels or during or novelizations and such. A year later, Lucasfilm found the letter in a stack of unanswered correspondence. They discussed it, I guess, with George, and decided to go ahead with the project. They contacted Lou and told him to get an author for them, and they would talk contract. So the Bantam editors got together, made up a short list of authors in their stable they thought could handle Star Wars, and sent it out to Lucasfilm with samples of our writing. And the people at Lucasfilm decided my style fit Star Wars best of the ones they'd been given, and I got an early November '89, 4 p.m., I think, Monday afternoon phone call.
Basically, I got to be the first one to go beyond Return of the Jedi. So there have been a lot of authors since then, but there's only ever one first, and I got to be that. So that's one of the big reasons, I'm so associated with Star Wars and the expanded universe.
To be honest, nobody knew if those books would go anywhere. Nobody knew in '91 whether Star Wars fandom was even out there, because Star Wars fans were very quiet.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing to grab onto.
That's true.
Nothing to make noise about. The Thrawn trilogy proved that the fans were still out there, still eager for Star Wars.
Well, I always knew that Luke and Mara would be good for each other, but at the end of the Thrawn trilogy, it was way too soon to do anything of a romantic or that kind of relationship. It was they were barely starting to become friends, so it would have been very cheesy and very unrealistic to do anything there. I had always hoped something would happen, and about a year after Last Command came out, I was contacted by Bantam, asked if I would do a final book in their series, since I'd started out the Bantam series through the last one in the 12 that they had contracted to Lucasfilm for. And I told them I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to end the war with the Empire, since it had been going on for 15 plus years, Star Wars timeline, and I wanted to get Luke and Mara together. And they said, fine for the first, but no for the second. I said, well, in that case, I'm not interested in doing the book, but thanks for asking. About 2 weeks later, they came back and said, well, okay, you can do that. The amusing part of that was that this was 93, I think, end of 93, end of 94, with Spectre of the Past coming out in 97, Vision of the Future 98. There were stories going on around the internet and the fan groups that Luke was poison to any relationship because Callista went off, and there were a couple other women he got involved with who disappeared then. And people were saying, Lucasfilm has said that Luke will never have a full relationship. And I'm sitting there knowing that we've already got it set up, and the reason all the other women keep disappearing is all the other authors know it too, and so they are writing the female possible love interest out of the books, and no one ever breathed a word of it. There was a secret that came all the way to the end. All the writers were incredibly professional. No one leaked it. But it was a deliberate effort on everybody's part, but it was amusing to watch the speculation.
I have to ask, though, how does it feel to go from being canon to pretty soon you're not going to be canon anymore? Is that a strange feeling to you?
I've had fun playing in their sandbox. If they move the sandbox or drain it and add those little pebbles you get, or the wood chips from playgrounds, and take the sand out and put in wood chips instead, it's been fun.
Okay.
And I don't know what they're going to do. There's no
Well,
reason they have to
absolutely.
destroy the expanded universe. There's no reason they have to acknowledge the expanded universe.
We might just have to start thinking it as an alternate universe that we
We
love.
might have to. We might have to think of it as some historian really screwed up looking through the records. A reboot would be really, really messy. There are currently 140 odd adult novels alone, not counting children's, young adults, art books, schematics and all that. 140 adult novels. To just say, okay, we're going to wipe those out, especially since many of them are still on the bookshelves, or bookstore shelves. What are you going to do? Are you going to say all these, we're going to stop selling them? Del Rey would not like that. Bantam would not like that. The publishing industry is taking enough of a hit these days as it is. A reboot would be immensely hard to do.